Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back with a brand new video. A brand new video on a Thursday night / Friday morning probably by the time I get this uploaded, where I'm not sitting here knackered and excited and honestly just exhausted given what I just witnessed from our Rangers on a European stage, skilling and thrilling. No, if I could really just say I feel the exact opposite and just leave it at that, I would. Ladies and gentlemen, as Rangers of course went away to Braga and we had the exact reverse of the result that we got the last time we travelled away to Portugal, as our fantastic winning run versus Portuguese sides has came to a scratching, disappointing, frustrating halt given what we just witnessed. Now again, full credit to Braga, and they are a good side, you know what I mean? I feel like there will be a lot of frustrations in today's video, you could probably tell looking at me, you know what I mean? We've spent a lot of years together, you know how I'm feeling right now, but we'd always try and give credit to the opposition here, and Braga are a team that has made the European Cup quarter-finals for a reason. They've got something about them, and you know what, on paper when you look at this result and everything, you see it was only a 1-0 loss, right, where a game you take it into the second leg. We maybe have lost the first battle, but we've got that second opportunity, an opportunity at home to overturn a 1-0 loss. That's it. There's no away goal threat or anything like that. All we need today is overturn and a 1-goal lead to make it to the semi-finals of a European Cup competition. If you offered us that earlier on in the season, we'd have snatched that and went with it, people. But I'm not just going to sit here and use that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just going to sit here and tell you that, pat myself on the back of the head and then leave it thinking I've told you what you want to actually hear, because that's never been what this channel has been about. It's always about me and the being honest. 9 times out of 10 I say the wrong thing, he's get annoyed at me and he shout at me, but again it works because we are honest, and I'm no just going to sit here and peddle that, people, right? Because yes, that is of course such an important thing, and I actually do, despite everything, have a lot of hopes and beliefs that we will turn that over with the ibrox crowd and everything. That will not be as flat as we were in this game. That is my hope, but all I can tell you right now is about what I've witnessed, and what I've witnessed, people. Such a disheartening performance. Again, it's not a disheartening result because it's all left to play for at home at Ibrox, and that's all you can ever ask for. But if we're just being honest between me and thee, have you seen anything for this Rangers team right now to suggest that we will be able to go over and turn a good Braga side away for him? Again, I'm going to be blind and I'm going to say yes because I do fancy us away for him. But I know if I take this out of the equation, and I think with this, there's no a lot on the park right now to suggest that we are more than capable of doing that, because the performances have been getting progressively worse. We just finished a game of football there where we had 0 shots on targets, people. That is a shambles in itself, especially with how wide open and the space that we had in that game of football versus some of the slowest centre-backs you will ever see who can't turn or run at all. That's what we could muster on a European stage in a quarter-final when we're giving in and we've got the opportunities for counter. That's what we can offer going forward. Again, it is very, very disheartening because you expect more from these players because we know what they're capable of, and we hope and we expect more for the manager, where again, I'm sitting back after 65 minutes of this game, people sitting saying, what is our style of play? Because you go back under Gerrard and Michael Beale, we had some bad results and we had some bad performances, but you always knew the way we set up and how we would play. You could watch and say, right, that's your style of play, that's how we play. I'm genuinely asking you, anyone who's watching today's video, if you just give me one comment in the comment section below about this answer. What is our play style now under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst? I mean, I knew what it was when he first came into the job. It was getting the ball out wide, pace of wingers, going after teams and really being aggressive. But after getting through that December spell, when he's actually had time to work on his squad during the winter break and implement what he wants for the team, I'm sitting back going, I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. To me, we look like we're over-relying on individuals to drag us through games and win us games rather than an actual playstyle that's designed to win us games. You know what I mean by that? We're relying on Morelos. If Morelos isn't there, we have to get Ryan Kent on the ball today. So, and if he's not there, it's all about Tavernier's delivery. If it's no him there, I don't know what is actually happening, and that's been the last spell, people, as we've now lost 3 of our last 4 frickin' matches. Say what you want, say who you want, but that right there isn't good enough for this football club. Especially when you consider the 1 win out of that 4 was a comeback victory versus Dundee, where we were reliant on a last minute goal, people. The warning signs, the alarm bells are gone. The way we are gone just isn't good enough. But we could talk more and more and more about frustrations, but we may as well transition in to the game recap, because there is a lot to talk about, and if the longer you watch today's video, you'll see even more, because believe it or not, the way this game actually started off was actually pretty positive, where I thought Rangers were a wee bit nippy going forward and everything like that. Just 5 minutes in, Connor Goldson does very well to win a header. He passes it down to Scotty Arfield, who chips it over to Ryan Kent, who tries to bring it down. The goalie actually comes off his line, by the way, and no wonder it caught Ryan Kent off guard. We didn't see that very often in the royal blue of Rangers. So the goalie comes out, smothers it very well, but it drops down to our boy Sakala, who hits it like a wet noodle, people, and it gets cleared away. And that feeling only continued just a few minutes later, where Ryan Kent dropped deep, he picked the ball up, he skinned by one, he skinned by the other, he drove forward, he found Scotty Arfield. It's a perfect counter-attack. Now again, if Scotty Arfield had any pace and he could run, he would ask a question that defender, he would drive into the box, he would try something, but again, we know what we get for Scotty Arfield. We know what he can bring to the table, we know what he can't, and unfortunately everything he can't is exactly everything you need from a player who's playing on the right wing. So he kind of slows it down here, he tries to just chuck on across, but it's wasted again when that was a massive chance at a counter-attack, and for there, people, it just fell apart. Because not too long after Rangers were trying to make something happen, Braga turned up in the game and found out Rangers' weakness: balls into the mixer, because all you need to do is cross it, and the Rangers players do not know how to defend, and that's the entire back 4, by the way, because in the 25th minute, it's a ball, it kind of in-swings and everything like that, and Connor Goldson leaves it, Tavernier leaves it, but there's someone right behind the bay for them. No communication between the vice-captain and the captain here. The ball eventually kind of comes into the mixer, it drops out, and it ends up being rattled off the inside of the post and gets cleared away, thankfully, as we survived that scare. But it was almost like Braga went, oh, they didn't know how to deal with crosses. Let's do that again. Because the very next time Braga got the football, people, they went straight out wide and they crossed it in, for this time for the left-hand side of Braga, so they were going after Calvin Bassey this time, and Bassey's the one that loses the man behind him. He leaves the ball, there's a guy standing behind him, eventually again the ball drops into the mixer, it comes out to the edge of the box, Arfield has a swing at it, far too slow and lethargic for that. Kamara has one, whiffs at it completely. Honestly, it was like 2 men doing, watching him run about in the middle of the park, unfortunately, for this game. The ball eventually breaks down into the box. Jacko does well to try and get there, but it bounces off him. The guy nails him. It falls to a Braga player. It's slapped into the back of it, and you're thinking to yourself, that right there is just yet again another Benny Hill style goal conceded by Rangers, where you've got Arfield swinging there like he's playing baseball, you've got Kamara running about like a headless chicken, the ball's bouncing everywhere, and somehow it finds its way into the back of the net. But then you see the wee screen, and VAR actually gets this completely spot on, where Jacko gets the ball, and the way Braga gets the ball back is because of a clear and obvious foul right on the shin of Jacko. So we got the VAR decision, and again it was the right decision, but that right there should have been a wake-up call to say, right, we need to adjust and change this now, because they can smell blood. But did we? After a couple of more heart attack moments for Braga, where nearlies and maybes were happening, we actually had a counter attack, as Ryan Kent again has to drop deep to try and get the football, because none of our midfielders can pass the ball forward. It drops to Kent, he flicks it on to Ryan Jack, and Draco takes away with the football. Again, that's not supposed to be his job. He's supposed to be in there, he'd be the breaking up type in this formation that we've got, but he has to run beyond the likes of Kamara, run beyond the likes of Scotty Arfield. He passes it and he finds Sakala brilliantly, who takes a touch away for the defender and rattles it air the bar. That there for me is a chance you at least need to hit the target from. Again, defended them, spoke him up and everything like that, but this is Rangers Football Club. You have to take your feelings away sometimes for players and say that there needs to be a hell of a lot better. This time the ball's coming down the right hand side of Braga, which is the left hand side of Rangers, and it's a simple cross ball low across the deck, and Balogun just reaches his foot out and just passes it directly to the player. Now again, you could say he's unlucky and everything like that, but how many times are we going to say your defenders are unlucky with deflections or that off them? We just need to be bigger, we just need to be better, and we need to start getting these cleared. He just whiffs at it, it falls to the Braga player, and Alan McGregor gets beat at his near post, which again is up for debate and everything like that, but for me the shot should never ever ever get there. It's a poor cross that we put on a plate for Braga and say, go ahead and take the leads. Now when I tell you I was feeling down at this point, people, it only got worse, because after some horrendous set pieces from Tavernier, where again there's sometimes our saving grace, and when you're not playing well you rely on set pieces because they can grab you and get you out a-holes, but stinking overhit. We hit one of the worst corners I've ever seen. I didn't understand. Somebody needs to explain this to me. It's a corner. We have Kent here who could in-swing it. We have Tavernier a foot away. We pass the ball to Tavernier and try and cross the ball. It's a foot difference. Why are we not just crossing the ball? What are we doing at that point? It was obviously blocked and eventually goes for a Braga throw in. That summarises the set piece delivery on a very, very poor evening for Rangers Football Club. But if you wanted the stake in the heart, people, it came in the 45th minute. The last kick of the ball, Tavernier's got an opportunity. He floats a ball in to the box and the Braga goalkeeper comes out and just collects it. Kills any momentum, kills any madness in the box. And that one move right there struck me in the heart, because I've seen us concede 16 goals for not doing that. So at that point I was just like, that's disrespectful. And it gets to the stage you start to question and you start to wonder, what are we doing? Like honestly, what are we doing? Because nothing, there was no rally, there was no tweak, there was no change. 15, 16 minutes goes by in the second half and then you're hearing there is a substitution coming. You're thinking, right, at least Aaron Ramsey's coming on now, you know what I mean? Aaron Ramsey in the final third, where there is so much space. When we get the ball down, think of that game. That's where the frustration is. There was space every time Kamara got the ball, every time Scotty Arfield had the ball. They just never done anyway. Horrific passing for both of them. So I'm sitting back going, right, we're going to bring on Aaron Ramsey. He's scored in back-to-back games. Dundee and Celtic. He has scored 2 of our last 3 goals that we've scored in all competitions. Here he comes, right? That'll give us Sane a composure. But that sub that looked obvious to everyone who was watching that game, wasn't it the sub it was made? It was a triple sub on the 62nd minute where Joe Aribo, Barisic and Roof came on for Sakala. Ryan Jack, who'd picked up a booking, and Balogun, who of course they were making a sort of tactical tweak to go to the 3-5-2. And you just looked at the changes and it was baffling. Like, honestly, you just thought to yourself, why are we not bringing Ramsey on? And that's it, people. That's genuinely it for the second half. You had 2 Braga long shots that was well saved and well held by Alan McGregor, especially the second one where it looked as if the guy was going to try and nip in, but it's a very good save for McGregor. But that's it in terms of what we offered in this game of football. I mean, Kamar Roof had a shot that went over the bar and everything like that, and a couple of times where he tried to beat his man and ask a question from across, but it was the same thing I've sat here and said for the last couple of weeks. When it doesn't go our way, we devolve into just forcing the ball out wide and hoping Son comes out for it, and that was the game. I'm not going to sit here and bore you and tell you how many crosses we put in to the mixer. The only stat that matters is the scoreline, and it was 1-0 to Braga. We offered nothing going forward. We didn't have any shots on target. They had a boy that was on a yellow card for the 33rd minute of this game, who honestly turns slower than milk, and not once did we just say, right, give me the ball, I'm going to run at him and see what happens. Yes, he did foul Connor Goldson late into the second half, but again, that was it. That was our centre back that was taking on another centre back. Where's our creative players? Where's our attacking players saying, you know what, let's be street smart here? Why was that not identified at half time? Go after him. Just go after him and give him a decision to make. Again, we just go out and be like, right, somebody step up, no, you step up, no, you step up. And that's where the real frustration is, ladies and gentlemen. It continues. I'm struggling to see what the style of play is under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. I'm struggling to see the reasoning behind certain substitutions and how Scott Arfield and Glenn Kamara played the entire game. I don't get it. And I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to seem like I'm digging these players out, because honestly, it was iffy performances or any part. No one really stepped up and played at a tremendous level. But you're seeing players there who are so far off the boil in terms of going forward and who keeps killing attacks going forward, who can barely run post 90 minutes, and none of them is getting subbed off or freshened up. And you've got a player of the calibre of Aaron Ramsey. Now, somebody might say, oh, he might not be fit enough to play in. Before I tell you what actually Giovanni went ahead and said, for me, see if you're fit enough to make it onto the bench, you're fit enough to make it on the park for 5 minutes when you need a goal. That would be my counter response to anybody saying that. But Giovanni has squashed that as he's came out and said Aaron Ramsey was fit enough to play in this game. He just wasn't needed as they have a big squad. That's worrying to me. But aye, that's all I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very, very, very disheartening performance, and I'm feeling quite low, especially given after Sunday. But that's all I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen. It was 1-0 to Braga. They won the battle. I don't think they'll win the war though, and I'll be backing us at home in the next game. But aye, that game seems like it's a far, far place away. I need to see Sahan versus St Mirren. What is your thoughts and opinions on this game? On the subs, on the players that's getting used, the seemingly favourite players who are completely out of form that continue to get played, even though players on form aren't getting played. Where's your heads at right now at Rangers, people? That would be fantastic to know where you're sitting. But aye, it's a late one. I'm going to wrap up now. I've been Siege92. That has been a crazy Rocky Boy Johnson. Take care of yourselves, everyone. All the best, and bye-bye.